Knowing only the top 10 function in Excel is not so important. The important thing is how and when you use it to solve the complex problem. To be efficient in an organization and on your workspace, one must know all these functions. My today video will introduce you one of the most important function, which is SUMIFS. If you are already an advanced user of Excel, you must have used this function. But today you will also get to know about its restrictions. So let's move to an example without wasting a time. So here you can see we have this data set where we have these field names, division, region, application, profit. And if you see that we have up here the criteria, which is utility, and the region is Asia and Europe. So what we want to do, we want to add the profit matching with one of our criteria, then we will add our profit matching with multiple criterias. So let's select cell H5, and if you are not advanced user and you don't know what is SUMIF, what is SUMIFS and how it perform calculations, so it's better go with the example. But the major difference between SUMIF and SUMIFS is that SUMIF add the values after meeting only single criteria, so it works only single criteria, whereas SUMIFS meet multiple criteria and then add the values. So this is the major difference between SUMIF and SUMIFS. So better you will see the example here. So first we use SUMIF condition with our single criteria matching utility. So we put equals sign is equals to SUMIF. When you see this blue fill, hit the tab key to enter the formula into the cell, then our range criteria, press the shift control down, hit control backspace, comma, our criteria is utility, which is in F2, comma, now where the third argument is our sum range, so control backspace, close bracket, hit enter. If you see that we have 32431, we have the result, and the total profit for utility only is 32431. Now we will just filter it. You can filter the data by going on data tab here and clicking on it. You see this filter button, and when you filter it, so you can filter here now by fields name. We filter it by utility, and when we highlight this profit range, you see here that we have this sum value 32431. So we have the correct result 32431. We have matched it, and so this is our first criteria, and we fulfill the first condition. Now go back to our selection. So now you have seen that how SUMIF works with single condition, but I recommend you that you always use SUMIFS formula to match even if there is a single condition, because SUMIFS is the improvised version of SUMIF, and so you can discard SUMIF function. But as an advanced user or a beginner, you must know both the functions. So now if I change this SUMIF to SUMIFS, so I have put F2 to go to edit mode. I've put F2 to go to edit mode, and if I put SUMIFS here and hit enter, so I get this value error. So if you don't know why this is spelled, I will tell you that why this range is spelled, just because it is the new function introduced by Microsoft Excel 365, that whenever you enter any formula as an array, it spells the range. I will tell you later, but for now this error comes because we have the reverse argument in SUMIFS function. In SUMIF, we add first criteria and then we add up the values. But in SUMIFS function, first we have to select the range where we add the value. So I delete this formula completely and then select SUMIFS. Open bracket. Now we have to select the range. Control shift down, select the correct range of where we want to add the values. Control backspace to back to the active cell, comma, select the criteria range, which is our division. Control shift control down and control backspace to back to the active cell, comma, selection is our utility, which is in F2, close bracket, hit enter. Now, so if you can easily see that the SUMIFS function is also working the same as SUMIF function. The argument, its argument is in the reverse order. Now we will talk about the second condition, that we have utility plus reason. So now we want to get the profit for utility in Asia only. Okay, so for that we will first put the equals sign, equals to SUMIFS, hit tab to enter the formula into the cell. Sum range is our profit. Control shift down, control backspace to back to the active cell, comma, criteria. Our first criteria is our division. Control shift down to select the range, control backspace, comma. Our first criteria is utility in F2, comma. Second criteria is in region, here, selected, control backspace, comma, select the Asia, which is our second criteria, bracket close, hit enter. And now we can see the result of multiple criteria, where we have entered two criteria. One is utility and the second is Asia. So now the catch is here, that when we use three criteria and one criteria is on the same column, then what kind of results we get from SUMIFS formula. So now let's check it. Our all the three criteria we put all together in under SUMIFS condition, equals to SUMIFS, select our sum range, which is profit, our criteria range, which is division, our first criteria, which is utility, our second criteria, which is Asia, our third criteria, which is on the same column, and again we have to choose Europe. So now we have entered all the three argument in the SUMIFS column, and when we close the bracket and hit enter, we got this, where it fails. Now I will also give you the solution. What is the solution when we have the same criteria in when we have both the criteria in the same column? So now we will change this argument, the last argument, this, and we will put this as an array. And if you are familiar with array functions, so if you are using Microsoft 2016, you have to enter array function as control shift plus enter. But if you are using the latest version or version after 2019, you don't need to put array function as the control shift enter. You just need to put enter and see what happens. So I put this as an array and there is already a bracket, so I just hit enter and see what happens. It spills the range. So now what I do, I will put this formula under sum function, and I got the results. So my point is, if you are using Microsoft Excel 2016, you have to enter these kind of criterias under array function. And when you put array function, and if you put some function inside the array function, you will get an error just because you are using 2016 Microsoft 2016. So what you will do, you will use, instead of sum, you will use function sum product and hit enter, and you will get the result even if you are using Microsoft 2016. So for now, today we talked about the difference between SUMIF and SUMIFS, and I also recommended you to use only SUMIFS function and discard the SUMIF function. And third, we also talked about the special features introduced by Microsoft 365 as a dynamic array function. And the fourth, we also use the combination of sum product, sum and SUMIFS function. So that's all for today video. If you find this video useful for you, consider subscribing and hit the bell icon. I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye bye.